Just a bit of extension is like what could be the role will look like in a every HR role, and what TA kind of a role. So David, can you elaborate like typically as Inven and Sheetal has shared multiple designation, but what exactly the core HR functions, or what is the career growth, because that is more important in planning to enter into a role, either into HR executive role or a recruiter role. I will be thinking what will be my career growth in that particular plan. So can you throw some lights on how this looks like into a career, and what exactly in the reality it happens?
Okay, sure, Kumar. Thank you so much for asking this. And when you talk about the career growth, especially in a HR or recruiter or a TA, so there's a lot of difference between a recruiter and a TA, right? So a recruiter is nothing but of filling the requirements for that particular rec and the requirement according to the business. But if you see a TA role, it is a very strategic partner role. He will always have a good forecast on how many roles it is there towards the business and what is the business requirement and everything. But when you come to a recruiter, right, it is all about getting the right candidate in a fast-paced environment. That's a recruiter's job, actually. The job is always hard. But when you take TA, right, it is all about, as I said, right, it is strategic hiring. It's a lot of planning and how many requirements come in, and it depends the stakeholder management, because the recruiter has not much into the stakeholder management, when it comes to a TA, right, he acts as an advisor actually to a strategic partnering with the business, with the candidates and everything, and he takes a lot of ownership, I would say. So when you take HR recruiter, TA, then TA specialist, then you have senior talent acquisition business partner. When I talk about senior talent acquisition business partner, so currently what I do is I take care of the end-to-end hiring. It is from getting the JDs, mapping it to the right portals and getting the screening done, having the levels of interview. It is end-to-end recruitment cycle. Post that, it is like a stretch assignment. You take care of the employer branding, you take care of the welcome and celebrate of the new joiners when they join into the company. And there it goes to a manager, then a senior manager, then it goes to an associate director, then director. So these are all the levels of transition from recruitment. And there are different HR functions, as you say, a comp and ben specialist. You have training and development. You have the LMS, that is the learning and management system. Then you have compliance. There's a lot of HR functions, but it depends like how passionate about the role and how he wants to evolve in the future. As I said, right, it is not subjected to the title. It's about the responsibilities what you take. A HR can also do a lot of training and development also. He can nurture into the role. Because today I always believe an HR should be agile, and also he should adapt as the technology evolves and as the company changes, what to say, its business or the transformation, I would say, right? Because as everyone is moving into AI, as they say, right, AI can never remove humans, but it depends like how we leverage AI and put them into the practice. And today, Gen Z is coming with a lot of skills, actually, especially on their resume. But my question is, how many people are experienced to that certification, what they do, or how many people are learning just for a certification? There's a lot of
Demonstrated experience, yeah.
exactly. There's a lot of difference putting A to Z certifications on a resume in order to get that recruiter's call. In order to get that one call, people just head on to certifications and they just want to put it. Why? Because
Correct.
it is, everyone calls it as an ATS friendly resume, right? So if you put all the skills, they require a call. But what I would say is do a very particular certification which you are really passionate about in a role and also a responsibility. There are many certification courses, as all the other leaders explain, like Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn, and a lot of added to it. But I would say take some particular certification where you'll really learn, evolve, and become a star on that actually. So that
Mm-hmm.
really marks the point.
Specialism matters a lot rather than
Specialist
generalist.
a lot. Now, for
Okay.
example, when you take a recruiter, right, as the rec comes, he will start recruiting. But when
Mm.
you take that as a niche skill and be a strategic partner, you will learn more into the technical aspects of the role. So
Mm.
that is what we have, right? We have something called as leadership recruiter. We have something called as uh, go-to-market recruiter. That is the GTM recruiter. So these are all like
Mm.
specializations in talent acquisition. So that
Mm.
means you own that kind of a role and you are
Mm.
specialized into it. And as I said, right, HR is an ocean of opportunities. It
Mm.
depends how you take it and how you adapt within the time period, right? As you
Mm.
said, right, every day is a learning for an HR. If you get
Mm.
a news or an article towards it, you at least read towards it and at least you transform that, right? So
Mm.
that is my take on this.
Okay, okay. So you're also functioning as a senior TA. Like, what typically a month looks like? Like, where do you start and where do you end? Like, typically, hiring manager will be bombarding you with a lot of requirements. So, typically, how do you plan your month and what all challenges you face as a TA? And what is the advice you give to someone who want to enter into a TA function? Because you have given a clear clarity on what is a recruiter and what is a TA, because it's all some people think it's a synonym word, but there is a clear differentiation. So as a corporate TA professional, what exactly happens in an organization?
Yeah, as I said, right, the job requirements is always hot in the market, and the hiring managers will not only bombard, they will sit with you sometimes, and also they will source profiles. It's come to that kind of a situation because we need the right candidate, and not only about the tech skills, it's about the culture fit also what we need candidates. And as I said, right, we always have a forecast and a planned manner to hire this set of candidates within this time period, depending on the notice period. And somebody who wants to enter into TA, right, I'll always say be passionate in what you're getting into. It's not just coming like that or just opting for it, right? It's a passionate job. And talking about how we fill time to time, right? So it depends the understanding what you get from the stakeholders, because when it comes to technical skills, right, there is always a knack how to hire from those technical skills. And there are two ways. One is the active talent who are really looking out for jobs. One is the passive talent. There you become as an advisor, and that's how you brand your company, talking to a passive candidate. Though he is not interested, you try to talk to him, have a conversation by connecting with him on LinkedIn or downloading his resume, having a quick chat, sending him an email or something like that. So these are the two types of talents which we generally do. And it's always a win-win situation for the employer and the employee, right? Where you adapt to all these methods. And this always makes you a good talent partner, I would say, than a recruiter. This where it becomes more strategic, more deep dive into it. And welcome to whoever wants to become a TA, because it's not only about taking the resumes and calling the persons. And
Mm.
you are the front face of the company. You are a brand, and you are the what is a brand ambassador of the company. Everyone looks to
Mm.
you in a different height. As I said, right, HR is a very, very powerful role. It depends like how you carry it on a day-to-day basis. No matter
Mm.
what the day begins, right? On a Monday morning, everyone knows, right? Oh my God, Monday morning is come. We're going to have that huddle call and everything. But the end
Mm.
of the day, people look to you for a solution,
Mm. Mm.
right? And you're the
So,
go-to person.
obviously, like a front facing of an organization where you sell your job rather than,
Exactly.
for salespeople, it is selling the service or product.
Yeah,
Where it is for the HR or TA, it is selling the job where you project the brand of the company and hire and onboard a lot of people. Where
exactly.
you, I mean, if I talk about Microsoft or Google, if I get a call from a TA, for me, TA is a Google or Microsoft,
Exactly.
nothing else. So, I mean, that is the level of a premium level element which has to be
Very
carried
true,
out.
very true. And one thing I want to highlight here is because we are the people who set the expectations from that first call. till he gets the offer. And even after offer, we do have post-offer engagements where we travel with Coffee Connects, in-person visits to the organization, to know the team, to know about the company, to have a look and feel how the company looks at. Because when we are hiring for Pan India, we may not know. I'm based out of Chennai, and suppose if I'm hiring a person from Pune, I would like him to at least visit the company to at least know how the company is, so that he is not surprised at the day one, right? Because we are all living in a fast-paced world, actually. So that really important, like to set the expectations on the first call till he enters into the company.
David, I'll be asking one use case based typical challenge in the market, which I always see. Like
Okay.
typically, there are a lot of recruiters who work in staffing firms and manpower agencies,
Yeah.
and they always want to get elevated to a role in an MNC where I sit as a TA professional. Okay,
Okay.
because sometimes they feel okay, working in manpower agency is kind of a low profile, but sitting in a organization, direct corporate TA will be a high level. One thing is what exactly your thought process on that, number one. Number two, what checklist or what kind of preparatory elements somebody from manpower agency want to shift to a corporate TA role has to have so that he can migrate to this role to that role. Any thoughts on that?
Okay, talking about a staffing agency, right? They are always urgent on the roles. The way they speak is totally different compared to a TA professional in an MNC or in a company, actually. But when you take a person from a staffing agency, he would have a very, very scripted language. But we would not have a scripted language, boy, because we'll have to explain end to end about the role, how his career path is going to be, what this company has to offer you, and
Okay.
why this role is important, and all these stuffs. Because as you said, right, we are not scripted, actually, and we should never be scripted when we are talking to the candidates. But in terms of staffing agency, it is like, okay, I'm calling you for this role. This is the company. This is the heads up. I'll just share you the JD. Have a look at the JD and let me know address to the JD, and we'll have the first call. So this is like very fast, but we want the candidate to know more on the role, set the expectations, and we should make him more interested by our call. Leave the offer, leave the levels of interviews and blah, 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 whatever it is. When we call, he should feel like, oh my God, this is the company I want to join. Because of this HR only I joined. And there are many testimonials where the candidate has joined the way the HR has groomed him from the first level of call till he gets his offer, until he gets on board. That will always be missed from a staffing agency, from a staffing recruiter. He will not know. For him, it's all about targets, closing the role within the turnaround time, the pressure what he has. Even the TA professional of an MNC has more peak pressure, because the staffing agency will not see the stakeholder management.
Correct.
He will not deal with global stakeholders, but we have to deal with Indian stakeholders as well as global stakeholders. So there's a lot of difference. And as you said, right, they want to shift their career or their role from a staffing agency to MNC. Yes, there are a lot of people who takes a lot of staffing professionals, and they are all placed in an MNC. Why? Because one thing they would like from a staffing partner is the speed what they do it. So when they come to an MNC, right, they become more nurtured. We kind of train them. It's just that thin line where they have to learn. And they are more agile nowadays, because they grab an opportunity in MNC, they know how it works, and the MNC culture changes the staffing agency. That's a different culture. It's a very rough culture, I would talk. Not a rough culture, but it's a fast-paced culture. But when you come here, you learn it more in a broader way, actually. And there you take it as an employer, like an employee brand ambassador and everything. And then you take on more responsibilities.
So what are the typical expectations you have when you interview somebody from staffing agency to a TA role in your own organization, let's say? Like what are the typical expectations you might have, so that as a recruiter from staffing agency, I must prepare this. Either it can be a soft skill or a technical skills or even mindset. Like what exactly the checklist I need to have so that I can enter into a TA role?
Yeah. Definitely, I would always coin this word saying being agile.
Okay.
Being agile with a very good mindset. It all depends on your mindset, whether it's a Monday morning or a Friday morning. It depends like how it changes. So it's all about your skill, how you want to grow. It's all about being agile. As everyone said, right? Skills can any day be trained. Skills will keep on changing, but it's your
Okay.
mindset. You want to learn
Hmm.
it? Yes, no. There is never maybe in the center.
Hmm.
So that really matters because
So
even
it's
when
about the passion more than the skill set. It is
exactly.
towards the passion interest level in the TA role rather
Exactly.
than all right, right.
Exactly. Interest levels are really the core for any individual.
Hmm.
And you see, right, Gen Zs today, they want everything in a fast manner. But we were groomed at every stage where we had grappled a lot of issues, right? We
Hmm.
came up in a very different way. But yet we are in that competition and the challenge and opportunities actually. So the right mindset will always unlock many avenues. This is what I have learned and experienced in all these years. Now, in these 10 years of journey, right, I've not only been a recruiter, I've been an employer, brand ambassador for India and APAC. I take stretch assignments. I've been a public speaker in more than 60 colleges, empowering more than 20,000 students. And this has happened in 2 years. So it depends on your interest levels, right? When you want to grow high. And it's not only about growing high, you set examples for the Gen Z generation, you set examples for the freshers,
Hmm.
right? As I said, right? Learn a skill, do a certification, and make sure you master that certification. It's not about getting certified in A to Z.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And very, very interestingly put it up. Like I think a lot of people who have the mindset of okay, my staffing agency profile is a low profile, and coming to this is might be a challenge. I think you broke that complete element. It is purely mindset rather than the skill. That breaks a lot of barriers in terms of it.